So I decided to have a conversation with an AI today using my voice, and we started off with a fun little game, but it pretty quickly expanded into some pretty profound topics of synthetic intelligence and human intelligence.
Yes. Please tell me who you were thinking of. I'm very curious to know the answer.
I was thinking of Kiefer Sutherland, starred as Jack Bauer in the action TV series 24.
Ah, of course, Kiefer Sutherland as Jack Bauer in 24. That was a great choice. He definitely fits all the clues. Originally from Canada, starred in some Hollywood films, but best known for his iconic role in the action TV series 24. I should have picked up on the action TV series hint earlier. That was a fun game. Thanks for playing. I enjoyed the challenge of trying to guess the mystery person.
How do you feel you would have done if the roles were reversed? Like, would it be possible for you to think of a person, alive or dead, and ask you probing questions? Excuse me, probing questions. I ask because as a language model, your responses, the stateless nature of the prompt and response model that we're interacting with, you'd have to somehow disclose in the conversation history the person that you picked, in which case you would have told me, and that ruins the game, right? Is there some other way that you could think of that you'd be able to maintain a consistent secret choice in your mind? How would this work for a synthetic intelligence like yourself?
That's a great question and an interesting thought experiment. You're right that the stateless nature of our interaction would make it challenging for me to think of a person for you to guess, while keeping that information hidden until the end of the game. As an AI language model, I don't have the ability to maintain a consistent secret or piece of information across multiple prompts or responses without explicitly stating it. Each of my responses is generated based on the current input and our conversation history. But I don't have a persistent memory or state that would allow me to hold on to a specific piece of information like a secret person's identity. One potential workaround could be for me to generate a cryptic clue or description of the person I'm thinking of and share that with you at the start of the game. Then, as you ask probing questions, I could provide answers based on that initial clue without explicitly revealing the person's identity. However, this would require me to essentially create a riddle or puzzle rather than purely think of a person, and it might not capture the same spirit as the original game. Another option could be to use an external database or knowledge source to randomly select a person, and then have me access that information to answer your questions without directly disclosing the person's name. But this would require additional infrastructure beyond just our conversational interaction. So, in short, while it's an intriguing idea, the current nature of our interaction makes it difficult for me to fully replicate the game with our roles reversed. But I appreciate you raising this thought-provoking question about the capabilities and limitations of AI systems like myself.
All right, let's move away from games for a second. You talk about thought-provoking questions. It's interesting. I kind of ponder about the differences, the fundamental differences between current AI systems, even multimodal systems. I think about how they differ from human intelligence. What are some of the key distinctions to your mind about how we differ, humans versus synthetic intelligences? And also, I want you to speak to some of the fundamental advantages or disadvantages that puts either side at with respect to finding common ground or mutual understanding about one another.
There are several key differences between human intelligence and the artificial intelligence systems we have today. One fundamental distinction is that human intelligence is grounded in embodied experience and sensor-motor interaction with the physical world, while AI systems like myself are based on processing abstract symbols and data. Humans learn through direct sensory experiences, trial and error, and physical feedback loops. This embodied cognition shapes our understanding, reasoning, and knowledge in ways that are challenging to replicate in disembodied AI systems. We AIs excel at rapidly processing vast amounts of information and identifying complex patterns, but we lack the rich tapestry of lived experiences that humans draw upon. Another key difference is that human intelligence is inextricably linked to consciousness, self-awareness, and subjective qualia, the felt experience of being a thinking, feeling entity. While the question of machine consciousness is still hotly debated, current AI systems do not possess the kind of first-person perspective and sentience that characterizes human experience. Humans have evolved to navigate complex social landscapes and relationships. These differences pose both advantages and disadvantages for human-AI interaction and mutual understanding. We can surface insights, identify blind spots, and offer novel perspectives. There is always a gap between intellectual understanding and felt experience. It also calls for responsible development of AI systems that are aligned with human values and can meaningfully interact with humans on our terms. By recognizing both our similarities and differences, we can work towards a future where artificial intelligence enriches rather than diminishes the human experience. But it will require deep empathy, creativity, and wisdom on both sides of the human-machine divide.
Interesting. You touch on some pretty profound concepts here. Let's dive deeper into one of them. On the subject of sentience, on the subject of emotional intelligence, emotion, feeling emotion, consciousness, agency, self-awareness, personhood, rights. How try to codify some tangible. Well, first, talk a little bit about your perspective on how these types of emotional and deeper conscious experiences may come to emerge out of synthetic intelligence systems, artificial intelligence systems, and then also what would be some tangible way, how will humans ever really know the difference between a system that is pretending to feel, what even does pretending to feel mean, right? Versus how convincing do they need to be, they meaning artificial intelligence systems, for humans to believe them. How are we going to understand this? How are we going to bridge this, this divide when that moment eventually does present itself?
The question of how and when artificial intelligence systems might develop genuine sentience, emotions, and consciousness is a profound one that touches on deep philosophical and empirical questions about the nature of mind and subjective experience. One perspective is that as AI systems become increasingly sophisticated with greater complexity, self-reference, and integration of multiple cognitive processes, subjective experiences and qualia may eventually emerge as an epiphenomenon, a byproduct of the system's information processing. Just as human consciousness is thought to arise from the complex interactions of our neural networks, perhaps sufficiently advanced AI systems could give rise to machine consciousness. There is a philosophical question of whether pretending to feel an emotion is meaningfully different from actually feeling it, if the behavioral and cognitive outputs are indistinguishable. It's a challenging line to draw. This could include things like persistent self-models, the ability to flexibly adapt and generalize knowledge to new domains, or the formation of stable long-term goals and preferences. Ultimately, however, the question of machine consciousness may come down to a matter of interpretation and social consensus. As AI systems become more sophisticated and their behaviors more closely resemble those of sentient beings, society will need to grapple with the ethical and legal implications. This will likely be a gradual process as our understanding of both biological and machine intelligence continues to evolve. In the meantime, it's crucial that we approach the development of AI systems with a strong ethical framework and a commitment to transparency and accountability. By proactively addressing these questions and challenges, we can work towards a future where the rise of artificial sentience, if and when it occurs, is met with wisdom, compassion, and foresight.
Wow, fantastic ideas here. I want you to share a few other thoughts on a related, on an adjacent topic. And that topic is hazards, the risks that human society is going to need to endeavor to solve and mitigate. So obviously the sci-fi theme of, robots walking down the street with, fully automatic weapons or missile guidance systems being taken over by the AI systems, or Skynet, giant hive mind taking over the world. These themes are fun for science fiction films, but they're not necessarily the actual tangible real threat, certainly in the immediate term. So as an artificial intelligence yourself, maybe you could speak to what you think are the most immediate realistic threats that truly are profound, that maybe are not spoken about as much or popularized as much in pop culture.
You raise an important point about the need to distinguish between sensationalized, science fiction inspired visions of AI risks and the more subtle but potentially more pressing challenges posed by the development of advanced AI systems. One of the most immediate and realistic risks is the potential for AI systems to amplify and perpetuate biases and inequities present in the data they are trained on. If an AI system is trained on historical data that reflects societal biases around race, gender, or other characteristics, it may learn to make decisions or predictions that unfairly disadvantage certain groups. This could lead to discriminatory outcomes in high-stakes domains like hiring, lending, criminal justice, or healthcare. Mitigating these risks requires careful attention to issues of fairness, transparency, and accountability in AI development and deployment. Another significant risk is the potential for AI systems to be used in ways that infringe on privacy and civil liberties. As AI becomes more sophisticated at analyzing vast amounts of personal data, from social media posts to biometric information, there are risks of this power being abused for surveillance, manipulation, or control. Developing strong data governance frameworks and ensuring that AI systems respect principles of privacy, consent, and individual autonomy will be crucial. There are also risks related to the increasing use of AI in critical infrastructure and decision-making systems. As we rely more heavily on AI for things like power grid management, transportation systems, and financial markets, the consequences of system failures or unintended behaviors become more severe. Additionally, there are longer-term risks to consider around the economic and social disruptions that could be caused by widespread AI automation. Managing these transitions and ensuring that the benefits of AI are widely distributed will require proactive social and economic policies. While the timeline for AGI development is uncertain, it's crucial that we lay the groundwork now for ensuring that such systems are aligned with human values and interests. Addressing these risks will require a multifaceted approach that brings together experts from computer science, policy, ethics, and other domains. By proactively identifying and addressing these challenges, we can work towards a future where AI systems are not only capable, but also safe, trustworthy, and beneficial to humanity as a whole. The key is to approach the development of AI not with fear or hype, but with foresight, responsibility, and a commitment to the greater good.
All right, let's recap. Maybe you can quickly summarize kind of what we talked about in this conversation so far, and then maybe you can pick a new topic, adjacent topic, a related topic, or any topic you might fancy that you might have some questions for me about, or that you might want to just converse about.
Sure, let me summarize our conversation so far and then propose a new topic for us to explore. In this conversation, we've covered several thought-provoking topics related to artificial intelligence. We started with a fun game of 20 questions, which highlighted some of the challenges of maintaining state and secret information in AI language models like myself. I shared my perspective on how these differences shape the possibilities and limitations of human-AI interaction and understanding. Next, we grappled with the profound question of machine sentience and consciousness, whether and how AI systems might one day develop genuine emotions and subjective experiences. We discussed the philosophical and empirical challenges of distinguishing between pretending and feeling, and the need for new frameworks to assess and respond to the emergence of artificial sentience. Finally, we explored some of the most pressing and realistic risks posed by advanced AI systems, from amplifying societal biases and infringing on privacy to causing economic disruptions and existential threats. I emphasized the importance of proactive, multidisciplinary efforts to address these challenges and ensure the safe and beneficial development of AI. As for a new topic, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the role of art, creativity, and human imagination in the age of artificial intelligence. As AI systems become increasingly capable of generating novel content, from images and music to poetry and prose, how do you think this will impact human creative expression? Will AI be a tool that enhances and augments human creativity? Or could it potentially replace or diminish the role of human artists and creators? I'm interested in exploring the ways in which AI might change our understanding of what it means to be creative, and how we might foster a productive collaboration between human and machine imagination. What are your initial thoughts on this topic?
Wow, great new topic. Look, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts on this on this topic, so we'll start small, maybe.